In this video, I will show you what I know about mineral wool, or commonly called Rockwool insulation. It is made from volcanic rock. I will show you at several different locations, highlighting why I'm using it for my cabin build. Exterior walls, this tiny home shed. Backyard 4 seasons greenhouse. Used as fire protection at this commercial bar renovation. Used for soundproofing at this bed and breakfast bedroom suite. For 80 plus years, fiberglass insulation has been the most popular type of insulation. I've used fiberglass on my last 3 spec homes, but I'm looking for a change, so I'm showing you what I've done in this tiny home build. Listen to the sound when I close this door. Let's try that again. This door won't even shut, so let's see. Let's give it a crack. Still? Good. Now, I'll do a seal shut. So, incredibly airtight in here, very easy to heat. I was comfortably staying in here, probably 18 to 20 degrees on a small electric heater. Very enjoyable, and I'm probably going to carry the same techniques through the house, except use larger amounts of R value in the walls and ceiling. Okay, I've got on all my personal protective equipment. I'm walking from the cabin I'm building to the tiny home shed I sleep in while I build the cabin. I'm very fortunate to have a functioning washroom and shower in the cabin. And I sleep in this 8 foot by 12 foot tiny home. With winter approaching, it's time to insulate and seal it up. This is a small area, should be perfect to show a complete job. There is a few different manufacturers of mineral wool bat insulation. Refer to the installation methods provided by the manufacturer's spec. Also, I've had great experiences using support reps from insulation manufacturers. They are there to help you use the right materials. There is so much new information about insulation, it's hard to keep track of. As we go through each project, I will discuss the wall ceilings and floor details. 8 by 12 foot tiny home shed. Walls framed at 16-inch on-center framing with 2x4 lumber. R14 insulation. Ceiling is framed 24-inch on-center with 2x6 lumber. R22 insulation. The floor was previously insulated with R22 in the framing stage, then glued and sheeted on both sides. 6mm vapor barrier, acoustical sealant, and tuck tape for joints on vapor barrier, covered with 1/2-inch ply. Backyard 4 seasons greenhouse, 7 foot by 10 foot structure on a 10 foot by 10 foot insulated floor system. Walls framed at 16-inch on-center spacing with 2x4 lumber using R14 bat. Finished with 1/2-inch plywood. The roof is non-insulated, covered with polycarbonate panels to let the light in. In the colder season, we have a rigid foam panel to insulate and seal the heat in, keeping this greenhouse functionable all year round, even in -25. The floor framed with 2x10 16-inch on-center spacing. I insulated during framing process and glued and sheeted each side. Commercial bar renovation. This was a floor system I framed to eliminate a sunken level. Framed with 2x10s, 16-inch on-center on top of 6-inch by 6-inch sleepers, 90 degrees to the joist and beam members. The building inspector wanted us to install a fire suppression system like sprinklers or fill with fire-resistant mineral wool. The insulation was much cheaper than sprinklers. I used an R22 24-inch on-center bat at the sleeper level and 2 layers of R14 in the 2x10s. The insulation was to be 1 inch from the top of the plywood. I'm not sure why the engineer spec'd it that way, but it must have to do with fire. Bed and breakfast bedroom suite renovation. After framing these partition walls with 2x4s on 16-inch on-center spacing, I've insulated them with soundproofing insulation. This insulation was designed for interior walls and is a little slimmer than exterior wall bats, making it easier to install the drywall on both sides. After learning all the different characteristics of mineral wool, this is why I'm choosing mineral wool insulation over fiberglass. R value. The mineral wool has a much higher R value than fiberglass insulation. Density. Mineral wool has a superior sound deadening property. It is much harder to compress than fiberglass. Water resistance. Mineral wool is hydrophobic, meaning it's highly resistant to moisture and water. Since it does not absorb moisture, it won't promote rot, fungi, mold, mildew, or any bacterial growth. And finally, fire resistance. Mineral wool is extremely fire resistant and can be used as fire stop. Now that you know so much about mineral wool insulation, who wants to help me finish this cabin? Thanks for watching.